Good evening and welcome to the Unprofessional Professional Sports Podcast. I'm BA along with Bro Crouch and Keith Engel. Hope you gentlemen are doing good this evening. Don't have James with us tonight. He's got a little bit of automobile problems today. So we'll see. He'll be back with us next week. In case
I would have picked him up if I knew he didn't have a car.
That would have been a long trip. But anyway. If anybody's been under the rock for the past week, you will know that the New York Knicks have won their first championship in 53 years against the San Antonio Spurs. Jalen Brunson was, of course, the MVP, deservedly so, of that series. So in New York, the New York fans didn't destroy the city like I heard a few of them say they were going to, but it was anyway.
They did some work. They did some work. They burned some buses and cop cars.
Yes. 63 people were arrested.
Nobody was killed. Nobody was
killed, though.
Is that the bar?
That's the bar.
That's the bar. That's the bar.
Right. Fair enough.
That's the bar in every, any city winning the championship nowadays. No deaths involved. So
I mean, if we're talking about this, then we can laugh about this also.
Okay. I will add it to this.
We can laugh about anything.
We all never. Have to get this movie reference.
Not Debo.
He gonna cry in the car.
Generally, stuff on my channel is all very professional, but that one made me laugh thinking about it, and so I had someone that was going to be on my show that's a huge Spurs fan and was like saying Wemby's a basketball god and all these things. So I was like, okay.
It's funny is always funny, Bo. Don't worry about it.
That's right.
Always funny, especially when it comes to. I'm sorry, he's a fine basketball player. Before we anoint him one of the great players of all time, can we just wait a little while?
Exactly.
I mean, he's got a lot growing up to do.
I feel that way about everything. That's like people saying that Brunson is now the best Knick to ever live. Let's calm down.
He never passes Walt Frazier ever.
I mean, he gets a ring, sure, but let's chill out. Let's let his career continue before you start pushing him ahead of Ewing and Frazier, and let's calm down.
100%. Recency bias is a real thing, especially in sports more than any place else, and it does get a little painful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is can he be? Sure, let's let him get there.
100%.
Because I mean, it makes me think of a guy like Derrick Rose, who had the tools to be one of the best ever. Then he gets hurt, and he doesn't get there. But if you were saying he was the best ever from year 2, then what happened to the whole narrative you were trying to create? Let's let these guys have a career, and then we can talk about it. You can say how great he was this year. You can say how great he looks like he's going to be. But, people can get hurt.
Day and age
anything can happen. Media. Not even hurt. Anything can happen. I mean, how do we don't know that he's as good as he's ever going to be. We don't know that, I would expect him to get that.
Wendy is a good name of a goat. I don't know.
I like Wendy.
That's supposed to be Wemby. But it's okay.
Maybe they tune into my morning show, and Wen is one of the people that view all the time, and so that Wendy is the goat. She's there every day.
Dave Thomas's daughter.
Well, then that's fair. So for both these franchises, where do they go from this point? Do you think the Knicks are going to keep all their players next year to make another run? And do you think San Antonio is going to make some adjustments as far as their personnel is concerned? The big one is Fox. I heard a lot about Fox, and that one game where they blew a 29-point lead, but they could have still won the game and could have saved it. But Fox decided, I'm going to try to make a basket. And I got 12 seconds left instead of holding the ball. That's not.
And then shoot 3 for 15 in the elimination game too. I mean, he's probably going to be gone. And that team needs a veteran presence that's not Fox. I keep talking about LeBron being there would be perfect for this team. It's probably not going to happen, but that type of player, somebody who can step in and settle these guys down. And the coach is young too, so he needs that influence, I think, as well. So that when they start blowing, 29-point leads, somebody can be the voice of calm. And don't go out there at press conferences and say we dominated, most of this series except on the scoreboard.
Sorry,
Wendy.
That wasn't even the first time in this postseason that we heard some craziness like that. Like these guys realize the score matters, right? Like I don't care. I don't care what the analytics say that you were shooting better or whatever. None of that matters, right? The score matters. And maybe you were shooting a higher percentage, but that just means the other team got more shots. So how did that help you out? I don't know. I get that you want to look at whatever stats kind of help your narrative, but the only one that really matters is that score when there's triple zeros.
That's it. That's it. I mean, again, they did dominate large parts of this the games in this series. All
First
5
quarter.
of them.
Yeah,
First
quarter in every game.
But that doesn't matter. Crunch time is what matters, and the Knicks were better when it mattered.
Yeah, as I recall, you can't win a game in the first quarter. So, okay, you dominated those first few minutes. Does not matter.
Maybe Kenny Atkinson ought to coach the Spurs because he thinks he won that series with the Cavs too. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. No, that's why I said there was craziness, and that was all in this postseason. That's something I'd never heard anybody say before, and we heard it 2 different times with different teams in this postseason. It's weird.
Well, you kind of actually heard it the third time too with Bickerstaff saying that, Game 7, everybody. I was proud of how my guys played in Game 7.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, guy.
Look, the Knicks are probably going to run this back with some cosmetic changes. Probably some bench players and whatnot. I would expect the starting 5 to be back and every important member of this team to be back.
Sure.
Everybody's under contract. There's nobody. There's no reason to make a big trade. Giannis is not coming to New York. There's no reason to break this up that way. So I think little cosmetic changes, and
I don't think they get back to the finals, but I don't know that this team was really good enough to get past a healthy Celtics, right? Or like there were some teams that got injured, unlucky breaks going into the playoffs. Now those things can still happen again, right? But I don't know that this Knicks team would have been able to cruise past like the Celtics the way they did Cleveland, or I think they might have still won. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't have been a let's sweep them kind of situation.
I agree. This team was good enough to win against any of those teams in the East for sure. And again, they were good enough to beat this Spurs team. I don't know if they would have beat Oklahoma City healthy. That might have been the biggest test of all, a healthy Thunder.
No, I don't think they would have beat them. I thought the best matchup for the finals being a fun watch was the 2 teams that went. I expected the Spurs to play better than they did.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah.
And I would expect, Wemby's a fine player. He's can you say he's a great player? Not one of the greatest of all time, but he's also got a lot of growing up to do. Between the way he plays on the court and the way he talks off the court, he got a lot of growing up to do to me to be one of the best players of all time. I just don't like the way he carries himself right now. I think he's getting a reputation he might not want.
I am 100% with you. And he has the tools to be one of the great players. Now, will he get there? Who knows? But, the kid's what, 22?
22.
So, I mean, there's plenty of time. So barring injuries or some other crazy fall off, like, could he get there? Sure. He has the tools to. Does he get there? Well, that's why we watch the games.
And also,
San Antonio's just needs to they need to get some, like Keith said, they need a veteran presence on their team.
100%.
And I mean a veteran presence, not a veteran presence on the bench. I mean a veteran presence, somebody that starts.
Yep.
And I don't know, and you got to look at OKC too, because OKC, they might retool. I mean, they got a bench that probably could start in most franchises. The bench itself.
They also have 2 number 1 picks in this draft still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, OKC is going to be fine for a while.
Yeah,
I agree. And Wemby needs to show some humility. I get, again, he's immature, but
sure,
you can say congratulations or something besides the fact that he never once acknowledged that the Knicks beat them 4 out of 5. And Mitch Johnson's really the only guy I can think of that really congratulated the Knicks for the whole Spurs team. I don't care that they don't shake hands. That's not a big deal to me. That's an emotional time. This isn't freaking Little League. I don't have to go shake hands to show sportsmanship. But afterwards, you can give some credit where credit's due. And I don't feel like that's coming from anybody except Mitch Johnson when it comes to the Spurs.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of, at the end of the day, you do have kids watching this, right? So I am a fan of, and I don't have kids, right? I don't have a horse in this race. At the same time, every level of sports you play, good sportsmanship is brought into that, right? Like you shake hands, you right? So I prefer to see that, right? Like, yeah, you just played everything you can. I get you're upset. Go congratulate the team that was better on that day, right? Be like, hey, you know what? Good game. You guys got us. Hopefully we'll see you next year. And I've been on both sides of that. So, I mean, you've been on losing games where you just got crushed. And the last thing you want to do is go over there and shake hands and be like, hey, you guys absolutely smoked us today. But, you do it. And then at the same time, it teaches some humility when you're on the other side of that, where you win big or you win a ring or whatever. You go over there and be like, hey, you know what? You gave us everything we could handle today.
That's fair. I mean, again, I would prefer they do that. Do I have a huge deal that they didn't know? But I prefer they did it for sure. Learning how to lose is as important as learning how to win in sports, right? That's why sports is so important to young people in my mind. And because you're going to lose as much or more in life as you're going to win.
Yeah, so it teaches life skills, right? Because
100%.
your playing career isn't as long as you'd want it to be. So you're going to do a lot more outside of a sport than you will inside of a sport. And those leadership qualities and, being a member of a team and all of those things translate directly into whatever it is you're doing next.
Agreed.
This seems way too serious for this show.
It does. Come on, somebody say something stupid, man. Where's James when we need him?
On that note,
so
that's just goofy, Keith.
When Bo's not here, I blame Bo for the unprofessionalism, and when James isn't here, I blame him. So,
well, we also, even if you were living under a rock and probably, or was outside the rock, whatever, you probably would have never known about the NHL Stanley Cups because it's the NHL Stanley Cup, and people don't watch that too much. So
their ratings are pretty good for no one watching.
Not compared to the NBA, though.
Right.
True.
And so we had the Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. It was looking like the Knights could pull this off there at the beginning there, but it looks like Carolina just Stahl, Joseph Stahl, man. That dude is he's one of those guys that he puts the team on his shoulders, and you go with that. That dude.
I love when the old guys do well.
Yeah. And that was great. And to Keith's credit, guess what Las Vegas did after that? I let go of John Tortorella.
I almost hit this dead on. If they just won the Stanley Cup, I'd have been perfect.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's funny is you knew it was going to happen. I mean,
100%.
He's that come in, spark plug, get him out of here.
Yeah, so after the Golden Knights had let him go, they hired Ryan Craig as their new head coach. He was a head coach of the AHL's Henderson Silver Knights for the last 3 seasons. They did get a chance to play, got a chance to get into a Calder Cup. That did not work out for them. But that was a coaching change. Also, the Toronto Maple Leafs hired Jim Hiller as their next head coach. Hiller coached the LA Kings for parts of the last 3 seasons before being fired. So then you got 2 coaching changes in the NHL. I don't know how that's going to work for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It seems like they get somebody thinking it's going to change the culture of this team and get them into a Stanley Cup, and then it's like they fall short. So I don't know.
They're rebuilding now anyway.
They turned over the front office too, right?
Yeah,
Maple Leafs.
Mm-hmm. And they also let some of their players go before the trade deadline. We ended up with one of them here in McMahon in Seattle, although we didn't keep him either. But he was the only guy that could score for our team, so I don't know why we didn't keep him. But yeah, no, their Maple Leafs they're turning the whole thing around. So if you're a Leafs fan, you're used to not winning anyway, so you'll just get less regular season wins.
They still basically got a pretty good core there too, but you're right. They have let go a lot of their good players during the off season and during near the end of the regular season. So,
Erwin, that would be.
I feel like it's the NHL.
NFL. No, NFL, because you have at least NFL. 6 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you have as many coaches lose their job as you have new teams make the playoffs every year. I mean, this last year you had a third of the league get fired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It has really become the what have you done for me? And, it used to be that it was that. And if you were in your last year of your contract, they'd probably move on from you or whatever. Now you could have won the Super Bowl 2 years ago and you're gone. We've had NFL coaches get fired the year after winning Coach of the Year. That's just crazy to me. So, yeah, as far as your job is never safe, that is the NFL.
That's fair. NHL can't be far behind though. And again, I don't track that like we do the NFL, obviously, but it seems to me there's just a ton of turnover there.
I mean, you look at the Panthers. They went through a 4-year section where you couldn't make it half the season with the same coach. They had 6 coaches in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now I got to look. I want to know.
And while Keeper's looking, we do have also the World Cup is starting. And, hey, Messi scores 3 goals to beat Algeria 3-0, all by himself. I understand it's the first game of the World Cup for them, but that's pretty impressive. Messi comes in there and does that and gets his guys off to a good start.
He's the biggest name in this tournament, isn't he? Individual name, isn't Messi going to be the?
Well, Ronaldo is too.
Oh, right.
He didn't really do anything in his game either.
No, he didn't. No, Ronaldo would easily be, the other bigger name. It's easier to root for him though, just because Messi's kind of a jerk, but he came out and got a hat trick in the World Cup. So I mean, I don't know how much you.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, and you pay him to be good at soccer, not to be nice to people. So
that is the truth. So we're getting out to a roaring start with some of these teams, even though it's only been the first game. Mexico, North Korea, the Korean Republic, Scotland, United States, Australia, Germany, Cote d'Ivoire. Don't ask me how to pronounce that because I don't. Sweden. And
it's crazy that there's been 2 own goals in this tournament already.
Yeah,
that's a dangerous thing to have happen in the World Cup too. Own goals. Soccer fans are, they're another level of fandom. I remember years ago when a guy got shot because he got an own goal. But that was
well, that's next level fanatic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's soccer, right? Like that's
how
crazy.
many teams? I mean, I feel listening to Brian, I feel like they made up countries to put in the tournament this year. I know they got more countries in here, but they didn't have to make them up, did they? I never heard of some of these countries, for crying out loud.
Well, there's 4 in let's see. It goes to Group L, so there's 4 teams per group.
48, right? Isn't that how many's in? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like it's taken forever here because the U.S. is playing one game in 7 days.
Yeah.
Or played their second game in 7 days, right? So.
Yep. So, Erwin, like some of these countries are small enough that they wouldn't be able to field a team if they were requiring everyone to have been born there instead of having heritage.
Yeah, it just feels a little loosey-goosey. I don't know. Doesn't it?
I mean, I don't know. Like if you have heritage there, then whatever.
Does the coach need heritage, by the way, as well, or because
apparently not?
Yeah, I don't think that U.S. coach has any lineage in the U.S.
I don't think half of the coaches that are in the World Cup are true to form in that way. So that one, I think they're just trying to hire the best person to help them win.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of new teams in here too. They haven't played in the World Cup in a long time. Congo DR is one of them. They did a pretty good job in their first game as well. And I believe the other team is Cabo Verde. That was the other team.
That's one of those made-up countries I was talking about.
Yeah, Cabo Verde. The favorites in this tournament have already lost. Spain is one of the favorites in this tournament. They're already down 0-1. So see what's going on here with the United States being 1-0. I wonder how long that momentum is going to carry for them.
I mean, one thing to keep in mind with being the first grouping, right? Like the first round is there's 4 per group. Basically, the top 3 move on. The top 2 move on, and then there's the group of 8, which is your third place teams. Now, there are going to be a few third place teams that don't move on, right? Because I think there's 12 groups, but there's only 8 that go. And then basically, if you come in last, you're out. That being said, like Spain's going to be fine. They're going to find their way in. Now, if it was the 2 go and the bottom 2 are out, then maybe not. But yeah, I mean, I don't foresee them missing somehow.
It does seem odd. Watching those Kenyans drink a pint of Guinness at the end of a race. Weird.
Well, that's probably not as weird as, Jamaican bobsled team. Like
all right. Yeah, but we get movies out of that at least.
That's
right. All right. Moving on from the World Cup, and people continue to watch that. I mean, it gets tedious and sometimes it's hard to follow if you're not really a soccer fan. But just watch the USA. I'll just put it that way. That'll be enough.
Not for me.
The WNBA is expanding to 50 regular season games in 2027, basically because they're picking up a couple more expansion teams. So it's be. What's going on with that, Bo?
I mean, you're going to see this continue to grow as they keep adding teams. So, I mean, that's to be expected. I think where they're going to start running into a challenge, and they're already running into it, is they're having a tough time getting these teams time to practice together because you are playing every other day, right? And so with as short as preseason was, especially this year, right, with the multiple drafts and free agency and all that, by the time they got that CBA done, they only had 2 weeks, and then it was preseason games. And so I think where they're going to run into an issue is they're either going to have to start earlier, which is a little bit of a problem, or it runs later, which also becomes a little bit of an issue getting into football and the end of baseball and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're kind of painting themselves into a tough scheduling situation, but starting earlier isn't hardly possible because of the NCAA tournament, right? And then once you're later, do you really want your finals, as you're getting into playoff time for baseball, stuff like that? So, but at the same time, you can't really schedule games much closer together than they are. It's every other day half the time. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how they navigate that.
If you're going to want to grow big enough, you're going to have to compete against those guys eventually.
For sure.
Head to head, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing is you are occupying similar TV networks that cover these other sports. So then it becomes a scheduling issue. Also starts to become some stadium issues, right? So
I was surprised to see them scheduling games, network games, up against the NBA Finals a couple of nights. I thought that was bold. Maybe not smart, but bold.
Believe it or not, the viewership actually wasn't horrible for the WNBA during the NBA
nights they were head-to-head.
Yeah. Because I was in the stadium for a couple of those games, and they still packed that place out. So I mean, good on them. And that's for a Storm team that, let's be honest, isn't that great this year. So and we're still getting good attendance. We're still in that 10,000 plus per game area for a team that has 3 wins.
That's I've noticed there's been a lot better promoting of the games as well. And I've also seen that the games are a lot more competitive. I mean, I don't know. They've always been competitive, but it seems like there's more of a flair in these games that there used to be for the WNBA. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. Maybe it's just me.
I think it's just you're seeing it now. I mean, before, the marketing was so bad, and it's something that I've talked about forever, is we have a team in Seattle that's historically good and have won 4 championships. And for the most part, you still didn't know when the season started. Right. So if you're in a market where they do support the team and the marketing is still so bad that you don't know when it happens, the rest of the world isn't going to know either. Right. So now that it's on major networks, it's on CW and USA and ESPN and all this, just the visibility of it is much better than you have to try and figure out where could I even see a game. So I think some of that is you're just seeing more of it because it was there before. Like, there were rivalries and stuff. You just didn't get to see them unless you actively searched it out.
All right.
Wish them well.
Yeah. I see it becoming even more bigger next year. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm starting to go when I'm watching the promos, and I've actually caught a game or two, and I've never watched WNBA. And when the Shock were playing, I watched it, but I never watched it past that point when their team was disassembled. So, but now I watched what was it, the Aces and the Lynx the other day.
Oh,
that was a pretty good game. That was a really good game. So the competitiveness there, as long as if they get that out there, I think that will encourage more people to watch. I mean, hell, it encouraged me to watch. So if anything's possible, in the NFL, the big question right now, who will pick up Sorsby in the NFL supplemental draft? Is he worth being picked up? That's the question as well.
If you're willing to take on the baggage, he's worth it. He can play. Potentially, he can play in this league. He played very well in college. This whole thing is just a mess. I mean, I don't know why Texas Tech and Sorsby's people were going through with the court cases that they went through to get him reinstated just to say, okay, now I'm not going to play and I'm going to go enter the supplemental draft. First of all, the NFL's got to say okay, by the way. He can't just decide he wants to be in it. They have to say okay, which they probably will. And then somebody, as you said, Brian, has got to pull the trigger. Nobody's pulling the trigger with a first, second, third round draft pick, I can tell you. He's going to go to sixth round maybe, and then maybe somebody takes a flyer because he can play.
I mean, I think that's what it'll be. It'll be someone throwing a sixth or seventh that was probably a comp pick anyway. Yeah. Right. Like it was it was something they were gifted. And they're like, you know what? Take a flyer on him. I mean, because sometimes it works out. Sometimes you can get like a Josh Gordon. Right. Now, he never could get his stuff worked out, but the talent was there.
Right.
So, we'll see.
I don't know. The last guy. He might have been the last guy in the supplemental draft. I'm not. It's been a while, I think.
No, someone went in 22.
Did they?
Yeah. I don't
Can't be
remember
anybody of note. Can't be anybody of note.
Well, I mean, they rarely are, but
a few.
there's been a few, but it's been a few, right?
Oh, like yes. I mean,
so you can say it both ways. Like there's been a few, but there's only been a few.
Well, that's true. Depends on where you put the emphasis on.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, like he could be good. The thing is gambling is something that the NFL does not play around with, right? So if that's a situation you want to take on, I mean, we watched people for the Lions that were making legal bets just in the NFL parking lot.
Yeah.
It missed a year, right? So he was betting on his own team. Now he wasn't starting, but that doesn't matter.
That doesn't make any difference.
In the NFL, that ends your career. So do you want to take on a guy with a gambling problem that has a history of betting on his own team? Is that worth any level of draft pick for you? Or do you want to take a flyer as an unrestricted free agent?
It ends your career in college, too, to be clear, unless you find a friendly judge who says, no, it doesn't. Because,
yes, it's ridiculous.
The people running the NCAA programs, they put these rules in and then nobody enforces them. And they go to court and then we just get whatever willy-nilly ruling that we get.
NCAA is one of the worst run organizations. It is highly reactive. They very rarely do anything that makes sense. And then you end up with situations like this where there's precedent all over the board that gambling's not okay. And they're like, well, I mean, maybe it's okay. It was a bad look. I'm glad that everybody pushed back and forced Texas Tech to do what should have happened in the beginning.
It's just a bad look, though, before this. They should have walked away before this, right? Yes. And not pursued this court case.
Exactly.
Well, what team you see may take a chance and grab him? What would
the Browns. I mean, why not?
Yeah, he'd be perfect going to that quarterback room.
Well, that's funny because actually the Browns said they're not looking for another quarterback. Well, at least not him.
No, they don't need any more distractions on their roster. No, like if you were going to do something, if it was going to be any team, it would be Arizona dumping Brissett and saying, yeah, we'll give a 7th rounder, take a flyer on this kid just in case the guy they actually drafted isn't good.
Mm-hmm. If the NFL is serious, and they are, as you said, Bo, serious about gambling, despite their being in bed with gambling sites, which, again, makes perfect sense. I'm not so sure he's getting in this draft. They may make him wait to the 27th draft and not let him enter this. I think it's at least 50-50 that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, even if he does get in, I don't know of a team that – I mean, again, I guess this is just me putting my GM hat on. Like, I don't want that type of distraction. If it was other types of things that the NFL has proven they don't actually care about, like domestic violence or whatever, you might take a flyer on them. They have a zero tolerance when it comes to gambling.
That's why I think he may not get in.
Yeah. So, I mean, is this the guy you want anyway?
Well, there's the one dumb owner rule, right? There's always one dumb owner that'll take a flyer on this kid. So my guess is if he gets in, as we talked about, 6th, 7th round pick is all you're going to forfeit. Somebody will take a chance. But I wouldn't want that public relations nightmare on my roster in my locker room. I'm sure he's cured after 28 days, because that's all it takes.
Oh, I was like, what are we talking about there? We got a Shador debate happening in the chat. The problem with Shador is the Browns obviously don't really believe in him. They're giving every option for Deshaun to win this job.
Yeah, they're going to give it to a guy they don't even want on their team.
Well, not only that, you're talking about a guy that hasn't had very good film
results
in 5 years.
Right.
And he still only started like 22 games in those 5 years. So not only has he not played well, he doesn't have a ton of starts. And if the two guys you drafted are struggling to beat him out, that makes me think you don't have a quarterback on your team.
Well, I know in talking about Sorsby, I know Dan Campbell had a presser today, and one of the media asked him about that, and he was like, "Well, we look at everything from top to bottom." He was referring to Brad Holmes too, as we look at everything. We can't say that we will, we can't say we won't. Whatever the case may be. Of course, they're going to be neutral in the whole situation because they don't want to tip any hands, obviously. But I think that's going to be the same for any coach that gets that question in any of their pressers from any of these teams.
Well, the coach, obviously is only going to have so much information anyway because that's not his role, right? Like the GM is the guy they should be asking that to, which you're still not going to get a real answer from because why would they tell you? But the coach is not going to know. There's so many times that your GM dictates what happens to your roster that, they may float an idea past a coach, but at the end of the day, if the GM wants someone on the roster, it's going to happen. They may not love it. We watched Sean McVay look kind of displeased about a quarterback added to his roster, but
not as displeased as you can look.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the GM is who gets to pull the trigger on that, right?
Right.
The thing that might go in Sorzy's favor if again he's in this draft is the fact that he's a project anyway. He's not going to play right away. They're going to if somebody takes him, they're going to be able to bury him on the practice squad. And by the time he's ready to play, if he's ever ready to play, this will be old news and probably not as big a deal. That's what the thought process will be. I'm not saying it won't be because once he gets activated, first time he plays, it's going to be all over the headlines, right?
That's the thing. Right. Or it's going to be, he gets activated in a way that it's at the next year's OTAs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of slow during sports, slow in the sports realm. So then all of a sudden it's, he's getting more playing time. He's probably going to get to, he might get a start. Will he go back to betting? Is he acting? I mean, it's going to be all of that because there is that 3 to 4 week section of time where there's just not a lot happening in the sports world.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Speaking of that, Cam Jordan is coming back to the Saints for a 1-year deal. So that's good for the Saints. It took them long enough to get it done, but it is what it is. Maybe nobody else had interest in Cam. Who knows? And maybe that's the reason why he went back to the Saints.
Well, no, I mean the contract price wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it was. But
I mean, even with that being said, if you're not going to get a job with another team with that contract, do other teams think that he's a little bit washed? I mean, the dude had 11 sacks last year, something like that. So he's still playing the top of his level.
He's just older. I mean, that's the issue.
Yeah, the NFL league's older too much. Pickens, he's not holding out this season. He'll play on his franchise tag. He said that was going to happen. So that's good. Good for him. Good for him.
Wow. Where's Sonia?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not sold on Shador. I'm not sold on Bryce either. So it's not. They both have a lot of work yet. Can they be good? Sure. They could both be good, serviceable.
Serviceable, I think, is the key word here, right? Not somebody's going to carry a team to a Super Bowl championship.
Oh, no.
They could be serviceable quarterbacks.
Yeah, no. In no scenario have I seen anything out of either one that makes me think they'll be one of the elite quarterbacks moving forward. No. But could they be serviceable, good enough to win? Sure. You can have that.
That's what Shedeur is to me. Serviceable.
Yeah, that
at best.
Joe Flacco type of career, you can absolutely have that. Where you need everything around you to go right to win, right? But you're good, you're serviceable, you're in the upper half of the league. I could see those guys being that.
I see JJ McCarthy being that serviceable quarterback too. I don't think he's going to be elite. I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but he'll be serviceable.
He can play and win in this league. I think you're right. I don't think he can carry a team on his shoulders, but part of a really good team, he could go out and win. I think.
I think
he gets a chance.
I think my issue with JJ is he can't stay healthy. So does he have a skill set to be able to do something? Probably, but he can't stay on the field, and that's behind a good offensive line. If he ends up getting traded to a bad team, his career will be over real quick.
Yeah.
Like I said, the whole thing that Minnesota did to him was probably not the best ideal situation for him to come into. The fact that he was even drafted as high as he was in the first round, that was the first mistake Minnesota did. The second mistake they did is letting Darnold go instead of keeping him there after JJ came off his season injury. He could have sat there and been tutored under that whole knowledge that Darnold has, and he could have got better with that instead of just throwing him out there to the wolves. I think he was put in a bad place.
Agree to disagree. I was fine with the Darnold move, although.
Of course you were. Of course you were.
Why did he do something good this year? I don't remember. Did he do something good?
Yeah, he was all right. He's all right.
He's all right.
I'm a little foggy on his end of his season.
That being said, I didn't think Darnold was going to do that either. I had apprehension for that acquisition for sure when they were getting rid of Geno, who had reset our passing record 2 times in the 3 years he started behind a bad offensive line. And then we'd seen what Darnold had happened behind bad offensive lines. I was a little worried. But then when they go and grab him and then they spent the money they saved on offensive line, I was like, oh, maybe we are trying to do something.
And bam, there it is.
There you go.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. Sam Darnold was 14-3 in the previous season. Yes, he had a few bad games, basically against the Lions and the Rams. Those two teams seem to be his bugaboo in that whole situation. So,
both times he had injured offensive lines.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, and KLC did a pretty good job with him, getting him to run that offense as well, or else they wouldn't have even been in a position to compete for a division title. So at that time, I just think the general manager that's the reason why he got fired too. You can't be making those kind of decisions and then it just falling flat in your face. And KLC, for as much as he is as a quarterback guru, I mean, you put a young quarterback in a position that you shouldn't be putting young quarterbacks in a position, especially with him. He didn't come out of college as an elite level quarterback either. He came out of college as a manager.
They drafted him like one. No, that's the problem. They drafted him like he was one.
Exactly, and that's the reason why that general manager is no longer with them.
Well, there's also an added element to that people keep forgetting is Daniel Jones was also on that roster that they didn't re-sign, and he was absolutely killing it with the Colts until he got hurt. So, I mean, you let go Daniel Jones and Darnold to keep a kid that made it partially through preseason the year before and then promptly got hurt again.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Putting too much on his plate. It is what it is, though.
And kids don't get a chance. Those kids never get a chance to grow. We expect too much out of all the quarterbacks out of the gate. I mean, a handful of them can do it, but not all of them. And the ones who can't are thrown into the fire. And sometimes we may never know how many of them would have been good quarterbacks if they'd had time to grow and get some tutelage before they were thrown in.
Because the league isn't about player development anymore.
No.
And it's because it can't be, because like we talked about right at the top of the show, is you could win the Super Bowl and be gone 2 years later, or be the coach of the year, be gone the next year. So, I mean, they don't have time to bring a project along. It's, we're going to bring you in and you better win.
What Jerry Gladwell say the NFL stood for? Not for long.
That is right. That is right.
Right.
And the length keeps getting shorter.
It does. It does. That was 25 years ago. He said that.
Yep.
Joe had a question for you there. Do you believe that Sam Darnold can have a repeat season like he did last year?
Sure. They didn't really ask him to do too much. You know, he had to go in and manage a game, be smart with the football. Those are all duplicatable things. When you watch a quarterback come out and have a year like Joe Burrow, right? Who, not last year, but the year before, right? He Triple Crown winning receiver, and then he threw for 1 million yards. They still didn't make the playoffs, right? There was no way he was going to duplicate that. You weren't going to do that 2 years in a row, right? And so if this was Darnold having to go out and be elite across the board, no, I don't think he'd be able to do it. For him to just go out there and be smart with the football, I do think he can do that, because the offensive line is still fully intact. He keeps all his weapons. Most of this football team doesn't have expiring contracts until next year. So you basically get to run back most of this team. And so that does say some stuff. Now, is he going to go win the Super Bowl again? Yeah, I mean, I don't know about all that. Like, there's a lot of things that have to go your way. Mm-hmm. Are they still going to be a good team? Do I expect him to be able to play at least as good as he did last year? Mm-hmm. Sure. Will that equate to the same amount of wins? Probably not. We have a tougher schedule. Mm-hmm. So I tend to be a little more realistic than optimistic about my teams.
Well, you'll never go anywhere as a fan not being, unrealistic.
Well, there's a reason that a lot of my a lot of the Seahawk fan base is like, what are you talking about? And it's like, well, because I don't just say we're going to go 17-0 every year. Like,
right. 17-0 and 17 shutouts. And
right. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
To tell you the truth, to look at most of these quarterbacks, if they're highly capable, like Joe Montana, Tom Brady, any of these quarterbacks that are revered as being, the best of their position, mm-hmm. you can't go nowhere by yourself. You got to have a team around you. And I hate when people say, well, you can do this without it. No, you can't. You can't. If you don't have an offensive lineman, you guys running around for his life, there's no way he can be that quarterback that you want him to be. It's not going to happen.
No, well, you can. You're just still going to lose. So you end up with, Joe Burrow is, again, the perfect example. We're going to pay 2 receivers and a quarterback. We're not going to do anything with the offensive line. We're going to give you no defense. And even if you stay healthy and you play out of your mind, you lose games 49-45 because you can't get a stop. And I don't care how good you are, you're not going to score every time. So no, you can't do it by yourself. That's why football is the true team sport, right? Like in basketball, you can have 1 or 2 elite guys, you can win. Baseball, if you got decent hitting and absolute dominant pitcher, right? You can contend. Football, you need some dudes all over the field. Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially the Bills. Bills is another good one. You think of Josh Allen being 89% of their scoring, right? Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if he has an off game, you lose. Like you don't have anything else to rely on.
I disagree with that. He's got one of the best running backs in football in the backfield.
So the thing that's funny about that
they win without Josh Allen sometimes. He doesn't need to carry it. 100%.
But what's funny is when you look at the games that he's struggled, the running game evaporates, even with that elite talent.
I mean,
I don't know why it shouldn't, but it did.
Bills are good enough to win as presently constituted. I think they just haven't.
Oh, for sure.
You think this is the same thing as for Lamar Jackson on Baltimore too?
Kind of.
I think he's an elite quarterback that really. But it's funny about Baltimore. It seems like they have teams together. It's just that they can't get over that certain hump. It's just like they wilt.
I feel like Lamar gets a little bit too much of the blame on this, because when you think of their postseason failures, it had less to do with him and more to do with coaching, because in both of the last 2 years, they just stopped running the football in their losses. Like one of them, there was 3 designed runs to a running back for the best running team in the league. Like, what are we doing?
That's coaching, right? That's not
exactly
right. That's
so everybody's like, oh, Lamar. And you're just like, I don't think he just was like, we're just not going to run the ball today. That's coaching.
Mm-hmm. That is straight up coaching. Yeah. And I like the one comment, the most important quality in a QB is leadership. And that's really why I like Tom Brady, because his leadership is there. He doesn't have to put up the best numbers, but if you're out there getting in people's faces and saying, hey, we're going to win this no matter what, that's leadership. That's what you want out of your quarterback. I think that's the most important trait that you need to have, really, as a quarterback.
not coming back to play for the Lions.
They're not going to miss Woolen. Yeah, like he got benched a couple of times because he wouldn't tackle. The guy has talent. He just was out of position a lot and wasn't a great tackler. It's why he didn't continue to keep that starting role. He was in and out of that starting position. So is he good? Sure. Is he great? No. He is one of those replaceable guys. So I could have told you he wasn't getting re-signed by week 2 of this last season. He is a great Madden player. I will give you that. And the Eagles are going to find out. He doesn't love to tackle. And that's a problem.
Maybe they just don't need him to tackle. I mean, the Eagles probably saw. Well, I mean, depending on what they play him in defense, if they have a different defense setup, maybe they won't require him to actually come up and tackle. I don't know. If Philadelphia is weird, they pick him up for a reason. I'm sure they saw the same thing that Seattle saw. So, it is what it is.
No, I think Seattle is going to be better than that. I think the Rams are the best team, arguably in the league, but they're going to be better than San Fran.
That's going to be another division that's going to be, 3 of the 4 teams in that division are going to be really good.
Cardinals may not win a game.
Man, the Cards that's rough. That's
a bad situation for sure.
Well, it's funny. So they pick up LaFleur, right, as the head coach, and you're like, okay, I guess. And then they go get Hackett as an OC, and I'm like, oh, you're trying not to win. I got you.
Well, I mean, he wasn't doing that until later in his career, though. I mean, it's not like he did that at the beginning. So,
no, and it's not like the systems were changing, right?
Yeah.
Like he already knew what was going on. It's not like he's Kyler, where he's just like, I'm just not going to do anything.
Yeah, Deion wasn't a very good tackler. He didn't want to tackle at all either. But the thing about Deion, his speed and his skill set on that speed puts him all anywhere on the field where he can be at and to disrupt the play. So that's what made him unique in that situation. Now he was not nowhere near a good tackler.
I did watch him run away from
tackles before.
I saw him tackle a guy once. He went to the hospital, I think, afterwards.
So if you want a good parallel for what Woolen is he is Diggs. Like he is that guy. He's a good boomer bust guy. He's gonna when he's right, he's gonna get an interception. When he's wrong, he's out of position, right? And he has a lot of speed. He can make up distance, so he can make some of those. But the problem is when you're not getting any of the boom side of that, and you're only getting the bust side where you're giving up scores, which he did in the Super Bowl also. Like he's who got burned there. If you're not good at tackling and you're out of position a lot and you're no longer getting the interceptions, your value goes way down. Like if you're getting the turnovers, they can eat some of those blown coverages. But soon as those start to dry up and you're still just out of position a lot, that's a problem. And Diggs was the exact same way. They're very similar players in that way.
All right, before we wrap this Cahoot show up here, I'm going to add something in here. I know you guys probably don't even watch this as much. I don't know, Bo, you might watch NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much you watch.
Yep.
This weekend, Denny Hamlin gets his hat trick in races, getting 3 in a row in first place at Pocono. This dude is 45 years old. He is contemplating retirement. This is a big factor this whole season. He said he probably will retire after this season. He has won 4 races this season, but this all happened after Kyle passed away. And this dude has been dominating. He's come back from the last place twice and won a race. I mean, and dominated at the end and won the race. This guy is just, he's racing some of the best racing. He's doing some of the best racing of his career. He's doing some of the best driving of his career. And he's 45. Mm-hmm. He had that's a new sport. Dude, that sport is old.
Well, it's like a new sport the way they race it. I mean, they've lost like a lot of viewership and a lot of fans in the way they've kind of messed up their sport.
Yeah, in the 90s, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was absolutely. Now, of course, Joe's in Italy, so he's more adept for F1. But no, I mean, NASCAR in the 90s was absolutely massive. And then they started doing the playoffs and all this other gimmicky stuff that really ruined the sport.
Like the stages, that's one of the things that's to me, I don't like the stages. It gives them points during the for the playoff, for the standings and stuff like that. But I'm not into that.
Well, the biggest thing is once you got to the National Series and then the Cup Series, like it was about how good your pit crews were and all the little nuances of racing because they were for long distances, right? Like it was a long thing. If you want to watch stage racing, go to your local track.
Right.
You watch that all the time. So it's, I'm not a fan of most of what they've done. I was a massive NASCAR fan as a kid. And then as soon as they started making it so that your best drivers aren't who won, I got less interested. Right. I mean, you started watching guys like Jeff Gordon, who was dominating the sport, not win anymore because you had to be good at 5 tracks to win. Right. So then you started seeing Jimmy Johnson, who could dominate those last 5 tracks of the year, win 7 championships. Right. And so basically you made it so that if you won a race throughout the season, you were probably in. And then if you were good on the last 5, you had a real shot. If those last 5 were the tracks that gave you trouble, you were never going to have a shot at winning a championship because it's the same tracks every time.
But just to put in retrospect how good Denny Hamlin has been, Tyler Reddick is in first place, and he had like a 180-point lead. Right now, it's down to 19, and Denny Hamlin's right on his butt. So,
well, yeah, that's because Reddick won like 3 of the first 4 races.
He crashed in one of the 3 that Denny Hamlin won too. I think he was involved in the crash too, so that didn't help him out any. But anyway, on that note, we will bid you adieu again. Please keep in touch with Keith Engel. He's on next. Everybody else, have a great day. We'll see you next Wednesday, and hopefully we will have James on the show. Everybody have a great night.
See you guys.
Yep.